Hi everyone, this is our second week doing a patch Q&A, and I do have notes. Did they go out?
No, I didn't put them out because we were
Okay,
editing
so
still.
the notes will be attached to the call replay. It's always in the Lifestyle for Health Facebook group page, and then we're also doing our best to get it out on YouTube. So if you go to
Yeah.
CherylTownsleyTV.com, it'll sometime in the next day or so, it'll be out there on YouTube. We've got a whole playlist now on information on the patches. Forrest has put together much more beautiful thumbnails so they're not embarrassing. We're making progress week after week after week. So tonight's notes, I'm not going to cover everything in it. There's lots in there on each of the individual patches, a lot on the history, a lot on how the technology works. We're not going to spend as much time on that this week because I want to share some stories and I want to share some of the biggest insights I've gotten on what these patches do that absolutely connected so many dots over 40 years. It just was like, I've got to share this so you guys can get the big picture.
So we didn't set out looking for these things.
No, we ignored
They
it for almost a year.
they found you. So since we've got some new people, take 2 minutes and talk about how they found you. And stuff comes through the door all of the time. Good stuff, lots of stuff. There's a lot of good stuff in the world, okay? But you just occasionally gravitate towards something. So this was like uniquely attractive to you, not even to me initially. I was like, no, we don't need to do this. And you were uniquely attracted to this. So maybe you could tell that story while I run feed the dogs.
So first of all, some some friends of ours sent patches a year ago, and I just looked at it and was like, this is so hokey and it makes no sense to me. Of course, I didn't understand it, and I had no interest. So Forrest was playing with it with his weights and he could do better, and I just literally ignored it. Now we've been working with neurology, working with Dr. Cobb, with Matt, with Z Health, neurology for over 10 years, cranial nerves, which I even learned probably 25 years ago. So neurology has really piqued my interest over during that time. And then somewhere about 2.5 months ago, I don't even know how it happened now, I happened to listen to a surgeon. It's the leading colorectal surgeon who does robotic surgery. And I think she's down somewhere in the South. Anyway, I was listening to her and it was like, oh my goodness, she's talking all of my language. She understands the gut health. She understands the pathogens. She understands neurology. And I was like, now this makes sense. And she's the first one that captured my attention by saying, everything with the patches has been clinically studied with EEG, not EKG, but EEG of the brain. Before you put on a patch, put on the patch, retest, take off the patch, retest. Every one of them. There wasn't like, let's have one good patch and then throw a whole bunch of others out there and just see what happens. Every single one of them had the clinical studies, placebo, double blind, in a hospital setting study. And the chance of error is 0.00. I think there's three zeros, one. It's like 1 in 1,000 chance that it was placebo, which is basically non-existent. So the research was very compelling. She explained it to me. Then I started really delving into it, and then we started playing with it on us and with clients because that's how I test everything is what does it do to me because I'm kind of a canary that can react to anything and everything. And then started working with people and it just became fascinating. And the more I studied it, the more I learned how the formulator is is a systems engineer, and he personally wrote over 5.5 million lines of code over about 4 years to, once he had bought the 250,000 EEG brain scans, all the code to sort it all out and find out what pathways were off and what could you do to get a pathway into balance. So in a nutshell, that's what captivated my attention. Do you have to know all that? No. I want to keep things simple. So when you're talking to people, I want to be able to give you buzzwords. Or if you're learning that it's working for you, I want to give you simple words to explain what's happening Or if something appears not to happen, what does that mean? And that's why a couple of the stories tonight will be so important. So, okay, so I want to share about, I think I want to share three stories. So one of these I've been sharing in our Easy community for a while now. About 2 months ago, I was in at the dentist and they did my blood pressure before doing some work they needed to do. And it was 158. And they said, well, that's pretty high. And I said, well, that's because I'm looking at you. I don't like to deal with the medical professionals. I love our dentist. She's great, but I don't like going to the dentist. And I got to thinking, maybe I should just start testing at home when I'm not there and see what's going on. And it was pretty high then. And I thought, well, maybe I should start working on this. And so I did lots and lots and lots of research. I was already doing all the diet, I was doing all the exercise, all the walking, all the right supplements. So I just started playing because that's how I learned. Play, notice, discover. So without going into that whole story, I tested it every day. And over the period of 2 months, I started discovering things that worked for me. I found that I did better with a wrist cuff than an arm cuff. It's lower on the left side than the right side. When there's 20 points difference between left and right, it's neurological, which I already knew mine probably was. And when I would do muscle testing, every time I tested, mine was much more spiritual and emotional than it was physical, which I figured that was probably true. But I didn't know what really to do differently, so I was playing. I started playing. I noticed that it was better after I ate a protein meal. It was better after I did a really simple hypothalamus reset, which you guys can all do with me because it'll calm you down. 3 fingers on the side of your head, put the middle right there in the indention on the temple. Bring your palms together and ever so gently, whatever's comfortable for you, press in and pull forward. And you can do it another time. Press everything together towards this midline. So I found that often that would lower my score 5, 10 points. So I just got in the habit of doing that every single time. Then I decided to play with the different patches, see what would happen. And I found for me, I've got other people I'm working with hypertension, and it's different for them. So everybody's different. The ones that work best for me are peace, which I think almost everybody should be on peace because the peace patch helps to balance the nervous system. Joy, which kind of surprised me. I talked about it last week. That one, surprisingly for me, what it helps is my creativity and encouragement because sometimes dealing with a lot of people with health issues, it can be a little discouraging. And and then the other one that really helps is boost. So I want to get down to the snippet of the story so I don't spend all the time on the stories tonight. And so everything had been going pretty well. And then one morning, instead of it being 120, 130, back up to like 155, 158. And it was like, well, what is it this time? So I'm learning to ask better questions. So I said, Lord, what do you want to show me about this? So I went and took my shower, did everything, came back, and the Lord said, why don't you retest? I said, well, I just tested. So I retested. I've learned if he says something, I don't have to argue, just do it. I retested and it was back down to 130. And I was like, well, how did that happen? So at night, I take the boost off so I don't have too much energy to sleep, and I put the REM on. So when I get up in the morning, by about 8, 9 o'clock, my patches have gone through their 24-hour period. And I usually take them off in the shower because that's one of the best ways so you don't damage your skin. But I also don't have the boost patch on. So I'd also been noticing with my exercising with the clubs and different things, I was having to reset range after range of motion being off almost every time. So again, long story short, when I came back after the shower, I had on all three of my patches that work for me, and they were all fresh, not expired. And it was like, well, that's pretty cool. So that makes a difference. Well, that worked for several days. And then I had a day where it shot back up and it was like, okay, Lord, all the variables I've been doing are the same. And he said, who are you agitated and offended with? A list immediately came to mind. This list didn't happen to include Forrest
No,
this time.
Lene was not on the list.
Didn't include Lene. Um, And so I went through and repented of that. I forgave the person, forgave God for lying, forgave me for being critical, judgmental, all that. All the things we teach in Easy, all of those forgiveness are on our YouTube site, CherylTownsleyTV.com. Just put in the word forgiveness and it tells you how to do it. And so I did all that. It took less than 5 minutes, went back and retested back to 130. So your emotions, your mindset, your attitudes, having fresh patches, the right ones for you. In my case, that helps to balance that pathway of circulation.
All that's frequency, isn't it? Emotions, everything's frequency.
So the next story I want to share with you, um, this one is fascinating. It was a young woman in her late 30s who had a meniscus repair. She used Freedom very, very successfully, 2 patches to deal with post-operative pain. She also did our homeopathic, which is to help with surgery inflammation called Relief Tone, and she didn't have to do any of the meds that the doctors recommended. But then she came over and she wanted to improve the range with which her knee was moving. And so we added the peace patch, and she immediately felt, she said, Cheryl, I just feel awesome. So, well, cool. And then about, I don't know, 30 minutes, an hour later, she was nauseous. She wasn't feeling good. And there's a long story to this, which I won't share all of it, but I want to share the key parts. I asked her in a conversation that we had, what is it? How did you feel when you felt really good? What were the words you would use? And she said, I felt full of grace and stillness, because I asked her to ask the Lord to help her put words to how she felt. She felt great. Side note, she's an overachiever. And she'd been working with someone who said, you just need to rest more. In her brain, rest means be lazy and do nothing. So that was creating a conflict with her mindset and her beliefs. And so as I talked to her, we spent, I don't know, maybe 45 minutes talking. And when she came to realize, because again, I asked her, ask the Lord, what does it mean to be at grace and stillness? What are you saying about that to this person? And she began to realize that all of her life to achieve, to get the recognition from her parents, from her husband, to prove that she was a godly woman doing everything she was supposed to do, performing, the thought of being at peace didn't feel safe. It was threatening. This is a really key concept because so far, I'm going to go through this because there's only a few times that I have found that it looks like patches don't work. This is one of them. And this ties into the next story.
A sec. So, Glenda, just a side note, this is right up your alley with the work you do. You've probably already figured that out, but I mean, this you and Cheryl are on the same page with this.
So if you have a really good response and then not, if it were me in that situation, I would say, Lord, what do you want to show me about this? What about being in a state of peace? Or what about being in a state that has no pain? Why would I see that as threatening? What would you like to show me? So anyway, she went through that. She spent time with the Lord. She worked through it. And she said, Cheryl, I'm learning so much and having so much fun, and I'm doing great. It had been really easy for her to dismiss it and stay in that looping of performance. Now, the next one has to do with REM and sleep. Sleep is not always safe for many people. I'm working with 2 trauma experts. I talked about this on Easy last night. And if someone has been abused at night, if they have been, if they've had trauma at night, then what happens with the brain is that either being horizontal or the hours or having their eyes closed means that they move into fight or flight to feel safe. And so they'll only be able to sleep for like bursts of time and then they wake up like this. And so that's why I usually recommend, in fact, almost always, that people start with peace because the one that had the reaction, that's super rare. REM could cause a few more problems with people who have just trauma around sleep for whatever reason. So the peace patch with several of these people, as they have done peace first, that actually helped them relax and sleep. Forrest doesn't use REM because if he's doing peace for 24 hours, He automatically sleeps better, right?
Like a river.
Peace like a river. Yes. He's in rare form tonight. Okay. Just wanted to share their
I
stories.
did just sent Linnea a text. I've noticed that when I put on the focus patch, I can no longer multitask. I can only do one thing at a time. So it's really disrupting my lifestyle.
Yes. Yesterday he actually used peace, focus, and boost. And we've been married for over 40 years, 41 years, whatever it is.
For longer.
And I've never seen Forrest in that zone where he wouldn't let anything or anybody, including me, pull him off track. That was really cool. Okay. So I also want to talk
The
about
problem with this is it's going to cost Amazon some of their profits because I won't be shopping as much.
that would be a good thing. Okay. I want to explain how the super patches are different from other patches on the market. There's a lot going on around nicotine patches. And for some people, those are great. I just want you to know how they're different. Nicotine patches have nicotine, which means they have a substance, which means there could be contraindications. Nicotine is in the nightshade family, so people who have inflammatory reactions to nightshades, like joint pain, inflammation, that's a problem. Super patches have no chemicals, no ingredients. There's no contraindications for any meds, any medical process, because there's no ingredients to react to. We actually have a client who told us that after knowing us for 25, 30 years, he said, I could actually look at this because I don't have to take it to my doctor. So just know it's different. Um, Other patches often will use supplements, chemicals, hormones, or electrical input like a TENS unit. That's an electrical. Those are all simply different. I'm not saying good or bad, they're just different. The patch is just frequency. So we're going to talk about what that frequency does in just a minute. We're going to do our best to get through most of this in this first half hour and then open up for questions. So you can be putting those in for Forrest to answer, and then we'll do it as we finish. When you have a patch that's got any of these other ingredients, that can lead to adaptation and possible reactions. Doesn't happen with the super patch. They are working from biochemistry, not from physics. The super patch is all about physics and frequency. Nothing's added to it. There's no habitation, there's no habit forming, it's not addictive, there's no side effect. It's not a crutch, it simply puts you into balance, which helps you to move up the ladder in your healing process, which I will explain. A lot of people know that they should, which isn't a useful word, make lifestyle changes. There are people that go, I don't have capacity to make that change. What happens with a super patch is you take a specific pathway, of which we have right now 12 choices, put it into balance, and it just does so many things for the body. So that's what I want to get into. So,
Pause.
yes.
Question so far, we're doing okay? We're trying to paint a big picture of this journey as we go on it so you guys know where to plug into it too and decide how they fit for you and not have it be. I think what I've seen with Cheryl is that this is much more than just a product journey. It's a full-on engagement with how you like to work with people.
Well, it's just brought so many things we've been doing for 10, 20, 30 years into focus on how they all work together and how we can help bring margin in lots of ways into people's lives.
I think margin's a key word. Did you cover that when I was gone, or why do you like the word margin with these?
Margin just means you have space to do anything more easily and better. Just I want to get to this next part
Okay.
because this is what I'm so excited about.
Okay.
So this will all be in the notes. So what I really want you to do, unless you're someone who likes to take notes, if that's how you learn, but otherwise I want you to get the concept. So every one of these patches were clinically tested with EEGs before and after in a hospital setting, double blind, placebo, and it's been in peer-reviewed journals. So I want you to understand these weren't just somebody's good idea that they threw together. When you bring a pathway or multiple pathways into balance in the brain, this is what happens.
I'm talking generically right now, right?
This is just generic.
This is just generic.
When you put a pathway into balance, your brain uses energy more efficiently. How many of you would like a more efficient brain? Your brain works in harmony now and it saves energy. Because when you have a certain pathway being addressed, the signal is so fine it only goes to this pathway so it doesn't annoy or irritate or in any way interfere with other pathways. Your brain works together smoothly without wasted effort. As I was doing all the research and synthesizing massive, complicated data, I thought of how many kids who can't focus because they're on technology too much. People I know that can't even finish sentences because their brain ping, 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 ping. What if I could help them if they chose to put on a Band-Aid type patch, let their brain be more efficient? So that's number one. Under number one, when your brain's more efficient, it takes less fuel to function. This is key because when your brain starts to lose energy, it will crave sugar because sugar is one of the fastest ways to get energy into the brain. And even in the people that we've studied neurology with for a long time, they all know that. So guess what they use? Coca-Cola, sugar, chocolate milk to get the brain energy because they said if you do that, you're going to have more energy. And I thought, not if your brain's being efficient. All of a sudden, it changes everything. It changes the results we're getting with range of motion. Everything we've learned in neurology is getting better when a person has a patch on that works for them. So your brain uses 20% of the body's energy, even though it only weighs about 2%. So it's a massive energy hog. So when you're doing a lot to use your brain, which is what I do a lot, and it's why after that big head injury 3 years ago, it took time to recover. But at this point, my brain's as good as it was in college. Now, I do notice I have to take brain breaks, but not as much when I've got my patches on and they're all fresh and working for the day. So just know with brain injuries, that can have an impact. Energy gets redirected. So if it's taking less energy here, what you used to spend just trying to be down here surviving, the difference goes into healing. That makes sense? That's kind of exciting. That's kind of exciting. And where does most of the healing need to go? To your gut. So that's why the brain-gut connection is so important. That's just number one. This is all about energy efficiency in the brain. The second, when you're doing all of that, hormones work better. Hormones are all the messengers in your body. Nothing happens in the body without a message going through a hormone. And that way you start using sugar more effectively. You can balance adrenaline and cortisol more quickly, and your energy will flow more evenly and effectively. So number two is your hormones are going to be more efficient. The third one, what will you notice? These are the most common noticings, and then I'm going to give you the caveat at the end. The most common noticings is you'll either feel more energetic throughout the day or you just won't be having the drops. So some people notice drops and some people notice, wow, I have energy. We're getting that feedback a lot with people who use Boost, which is for clean energy, no stimulants. They're amazed at what they get done in a day. You'll have more endurance, more stamina. You're going to think more clearly because you don't have all the fog and the inefficiency going on. Your body stops working overtime to deal with brain imbalances. And when your brain works overtime, you're going to have more cravings. You're going to have more health issues. Pretty cool. No more constant energy drain from chronic stress because stress is a perception. And when you get things into balance, you look at things differently. So again, these are all in the notes, but how many of you, when you hear that, even just one of these things go, this is like pretty key?
Deborah's got her hand up.
Yes, Deborah.
So let me see if I understand. When we put these patches on, because I know when you take them off, it stops. So I was trying to figure out the benefit, and then it occurred to me, and I think you're saying this. When the patch is on and a pathway is being cleared, then you do the behaviors and the things that need to be done to reinforce that cleared pathway so that eventually what may happen is that you will begin to have more access without the patches. Will that
So
happen?
let me see if I can help you understand it, Deborah, because it doesn't fix anything. It puts a pathway into balance. So it gives you the things I just talked about. Now, when you're in balance, it's easier to choose healthier options.
Right.
It's easier. If somebody's had a problem for 40 years, here's my thought on it. I don't know how long it will take if someone's had an issue for 20, 30, 40 years. If you put that pathway in balance, is there a point at which you wouldn't need to balance that pathway? Because it's learned how to do it
What?
itself. I don't know the answer to that.
Okay.
I don't
All
know the
right. So,
answer to that.
so energy has always been a problem in my life from the time I was a child. I have very low energy, very low energy. I watch other people and I am amazed at what they can do and I can't. So, and my hormones are off. I know they are. So, which patches would I use to help me
Here's
to
where I
try?
would suggest you start based on what I'm learning.
And she'll have to notice.
And always notice, like I did with the blood pressure, I just kept noticing. And when it would go up or down, I'd go, okay, what was different? What's different right now than it was yesterday when it was okay? So the question, what's
Mhm.
different, will help you discover things.
There can also be a period of time for this to kick in.
And some people will notice it immediately. Some will notice a difference over 2 to 3 weeks. So give yourself grace, especially if it's a pathway like you just mentioned that's been out of balance for a while. But I would do peace because that balances the nervous system and helps you get out of fight or flight. And boost is for clean energy.
Okay.
So those are the two that I would start with.
And then peace can stay on all night, but boost would need to come off when you go to bed.
Typically,
Okay.
typically. But you know what? You might want to take one night, leave it on, see what happens. It's not going to hurt. And if you're finding, gee, I can't get to sleep or stay asleep for those first couple hours, then take it off. You don't cause a problem. So these are all the things that are common noticings unless. I want to give you these unless because they're important.
I just add to that.
Mhm.
So, Deborah, we're a month into this and we're listening to a lot of people.
2 months.
2 months. The patches have been around for 2 years. Jay has been working on them for 17 years, starting with his mother. So, a big part of what Cheryl's it's not like we know what vitamin C does because we've been studying it for a long time, but we do know what frequency does and energy does. So, this is an ongoing process of education. Part of why we like the community is we're picking up stories from other people on what's working for them, how it's working. Um, but they really think of them as a tool that you can learn how to use effectively in different situations and for different reasons. Because I was wearing just my exercise patch because that was great. And then just the peace patch because Cheryl said to. And then she said, you probably ought to put on the boost patch. Well, it was a combination for me that made the difference for her of the boost, the focus, and the peace. Well, my brain first goes like, dang, there goes $3 a day. So I probably should only wear them every other day. And then this morning I'm dragging butt around the house, mopey dopey, because I thought I'll just wait and put them on after my noon shower. And like, I've got to get some work done today. Slapped all three on, had lunch, laid down for 5 minutes with the dogs, got up, and I've been focused and clear since 12 o'clock. So I'm 2 days into proving that those three together make a difference for me, as opposed to a month into the fact that the victory patch dramatically improves my ability to swing my clubs, exercise, balance, etc. So I had one experience and now I'm developing another experience, okay? And then Cheryl's discovering the blood pressure experience, which is kind of a medical claim, so we got to be a little bit careful about that.
So I'm not saying that what I'm doing solves blood pressure. What I am saying is that the 3 pathways that I worked on, along with getting rid of offenses, resetting hypothalamus, became the things that kept it in the balance range. Those are the things I'm noticing for me. And that other people I'm working with who have that issue, they're doing different patches because you have different pathways that are out of balance. That's what's key to really get.
Renee, the Healy is also a frequency device. And I have a Healy, but I'm gonna call this simply different and a lot easier because my Healy sits in the drawer because I got to plug it in, wire my body up, and then remember how to set it. I'll just say that the patches are a lot easier than carrying my phone and my Healy around. But again, they would be a similar concept.
It's a similar concept, and I use the Healy quite a bit. I'm getting far superior results for me with my brain and being able to really keep the energy to do all the brain demands I do right now. Okay, I want to give you the caveats. One, I have a good friend who had a stroke, has not had the use of her right arm, so I sent her, I don't remember which one of the patches to put on her right shoulder because she didn't have use of this hand. Well, and she said that there is no change. It was like, well, why did that? So I didn't just give up on it. It's like, Lord, what do you want to show me about this? And then one of the things I learned is if you don't put a patch where there's nerve damage. This is nerve damage. So it's not going to be able to transfer a signal through the nervous system up to the brain because there's a short. So we're working with her. She hopefully today or tomorrow will get her new patches, and we're going to do everything on the left side because she has nerve damage on the right side. So that's very important. People who like have neuropathy, with some people, they can actually put a patch on the top of their foot or the bottom of their foot and get instant relief of pain with freedom. It's like instant. Others don't notice it. So with those people, you'd want to put it above, like maybe up on the thigh or on the buttocks or up on the arm. You play with it because everybody is different where their system notices a difference. Even though they're designed to go anywhere, people are different. The other thing is if that's a pathway that's not really out of balance, you probably wouldn't notice a big difference. So for like me, focus is not my issue.
And Lene probably wouldn't wear the joy patch.
She's already a happy person. Um, I didn't think of myself as an unhappy person, but when you look at that, joy is more for depression, to suicide attempts, discouragement. I've had that. I could see that pathway being out of balance, and I've done a lot of compensating. So the joy just released a lot of creativity for me. The other is you don't want to put it where there's tattoos, because that's nerve damage, or if you have scar tissue. Some people seem to prefer legs over arms. That's where you just have to play. You just have to play. Okay, now I'm going to turn it over to you because one of the other questions we get is,
Wait a sec. Pause for questions.
are you guys tracking with me? Is it making sense? Is it helpful?
Mark, did you share your story, or Ann, did he share his story?
You'll have to unmute.
The pathway is closed right now. Okay, so much for you being a technical genius.
If you move your mouse down in the lower left, there'll be an audio and you just unclick it so it'll be unmuted.
There you go. Okay, you're unmuted, but it's not working.
Well, do you have your sound on? It's muted.
You guys will have to play this next week so you can tell your story later. Call your kids in Germany and have a Zoom call. Okay, any other questions or comments? Mark has got some disc problems. Ann just told me today, and he did one freedom patch, not too much, put 2 on, and things got better. Now, did we solve the disc problem? No, but did we get rid of the pain problem? Yes. And so that's a big step in the right direction.
And one of the things we learned in neurology is if you lined up 10 people and their x-rays all showed, say, knee damage to a reasonable amount, not everybody experiences pain because pain is run by the brain. The brain determines your pain level and if you have pain. The brain determines vision, strength, speed,
Did it go
stamina.
off?
And so, again, we're talking about getting pathways to the brain back in balance, so that can make a huge difference in the pain pathway.
Okay. Any other questions or comments so far? Because I know that in a classroom of 30 people, somebody has a question. Which patches can we put more than one up on at the same time?
Freedom.
No, you can put more of
Oh,
which patch can we put? Yeah, just the freedom, but you can wear multiple patches. Like Cheryl and I both have 4 patches on today. But freedom, they say you can do 2. They say the others, it's kind of a waste of money doing more than one.
so freedom, you can use a patch on 2 different locations. So that's 2 patches. You can wear multiple patches. I encourage you, because where I started out with one at a time and then played with different combinations. One of the combinations for me, because I thought, well, I'm just going to sneak in Ignite and burn a bunch of calories, see if I can lose some weight. That actually was negative when I was testing blood pressure. So for me right now, that one's not useful. So it's not about blood pressure. It's take something that you can measure. It could be blood sugar. It could be blood pressure. It could be the number of hours you slept. If you wear a Fitbit, you can look at the quality of your sleep. You can assess your energy. You can do range of motion. Whatever it is, pick something so you can be monitoring and assessing with as much accuracy as possible.
So be sure on the YouTube playlist we have the Lene and I did a video, and then there's another one by another couple doing the balance testing with the Liberty patch. All of you should watch those videos and know how to do the balance testing. That's a little hard to do by yourself. Now I've got a few people like Glenda that do muscle testing, and they're doing some muscle testing with this in different ways. If you're not familiar with that concept, probably not the path to go down, but the balance testing is very cool because everybody can do it.
So Tracy, on the rocket patch, which is for nighttime urination,
That's Renee's friend, right?
ED, again, it doesn't really typically matter where you put the patch. You know, you could put it on the upper thigh, you could put it on the buttocks, you could put it on the low back, play with location because everybody is a little bit different. The only one that's more location specific is no nerve damage, no tattoos. You want it above pain locations, between the pain location and the brain, so that the signal is going here to then help the areas below that have the
So
pain.
2 questions. Patch has got a 24-hour lifespan, according to the founder, the creator. And Jay, the founder, also is very adamant. He said, I spent $25 million making a patch that goes anywhere on your body. So yes, we're learning some things about where the patch goes. Somebody put out a card on how to place the patch in different places. He got really upset. He said, my goal is not to have everybody testing all their places, but to have a patch that you put on your body and it works. So you can play with it, but there's not a fixed answer for that. But again, those of you who like to do the testing and mess around with it, then that's a good thing to do, okay?
Now, one other thing in the notes I'm not going to go into, if you have like older, crepey, thin, sensitive skin, in the notes, it's on application. There's a couple of things you can put on the skin. The easiest, cheapest would be to do an alcohol square swab, clean it off, let it dry, and then put the patch on. What's really important is just don't rip them off, because that actually impacts and damage those ion pathways of the skin that's getting the signals to the brain. So I now take them all off when I shower, except when I take REM off when I first get up, because I tend to put it right here so I can remember where I put it. And then when I get up in the morning, when I'm brushing my teeth, I use soap and water, get it soft, and it comes right off. So soap and water in the shower or by itself is a much more effective way to take the patches off so you don't damage your skin.
Okay, let's do a couple of things because how many of you want, there's several ways you can purchase these, so money is always an issue. I talked to somebody the other day and they said, Forrest, I can't afford $60 a patch. Now I've got some people that just pay for stuff. Okay, money's not an issue. So we have all the way from money's not an issue, what's the easiest way to do it, to I need to figure out how I'm going to save and get these at the most efficient price. So I'm just going to walk you through that easily. When we started with this last month, I ordered I ordered 120, about 130 patches in the office because I knew,
Packets.
huh?
Packets.
Packets. I ordered about 130 packets in the office. I knew that would be the easiest way to introduce them to our clients because our clients are used to just coming in the office and buying stuff off the shelf from me. So we had that, and then a bunch of you have made me stay up late at night, putting them in little baggies of 7 and shipping them out to you at great time and energy profit. It's highly profitable to do that. Not really. But we wanted to make it easy for people to try them and go through the discovery process. So I'm going to give you 3 different ways you can purchase them so that
Pick your
you can
price.
decide which is the best for you. Cheryl calls it pick your price. So first half of the call was pick your patch. Now it's pick your price. That's clever. Pick your patch, pick your price, pick your, what's the third part of that jingle?
I don't know. Let's move on.
Lene, go to work on that for me, okay? Put that into AI and see what she comes up with for this third part of the song. Okay, Mark, you play the piano. You could come up with it. Okay, so the retail price on the patches is $60 for a pack of 28. You will always be able to get them from me for $60 because I will always have them in stock with everything in the office. Your first order, and what I've been having everybody do is they either buy from me or they go to my affiliate website, forest.superpatch.com. So it's like my member affiliate site, and I just call it my affiliate site because it's really easy. When you go to my affiliate site the first time, the computer recognizes it's your first time and they give you 25% off of your first order. That means like, so Lene decides she's tried some of my sample packs and she wants to order some. So she goes to forest.superpatch.com and she says, I want to try 5 of these. So she puts all 5 in. When she's buying them, it's going to say $60 a pack. When she goes to checkout, they will all be discounted to $45. The benefit to that is the company also gives their customers, not their members, they give their customers a 30-day money back guarantee. One of Jay's comments on a podcast he did is he said, there's about 10% of the people, 5 to 10%, 5, that these don't work for. Now that would include perhaps some of the ones that Cheryl has done stories with you guys on. In other words, we've got clients whose first experience was this doesn't work for me. In fact, Cheryl's first experience was this doesn't work for me with the Liberty Patch. So I think we're going to have much less than that 5 to 10%, but there's going to be that out there as you're talking to people. He said, I don't want to keep your money if they don't work for you. That's his philosophy. So they've got a 30-day money back guarantee on that initial purchase as a customer. Okay. So that's number 1.
So let's say you bought 4 packets, 3 work and 1 doesn't. You return the one that didn't work for you. And then that's fine. I would actually like to know what didn't work for you because I'm really looking at, so far it's either a pathway that wasn't out of balance or there was a belief that if I put that in balance, it's threatening. Or like the person who I had it put it here, it was in the wrong place because there was nerve damage. I like to discover the whys behind what works, what doesn't work. So that's
Cheryl,
just me.
Cheryl's goal is always going to be from a coaching, mentoring standpoint. How do we create optimal lifestyle health and results in your life? The easiest way. Okay. Number 2, after you've become a customer, you can make a decision that you like these and you would like to not go back to paying. So you do the $45 purchase the first time, and that $45 discount will show up when you check out. So it shows 60 all the way through. So if you order 4, it's going to show $240, and that's going to discount 25%, and you'll have shipping and tax. The one benefit to ordering from me is you don't pay tax if you don't live in Colorado, but tax is part of life. Okay, so you've gone through that process, and Anna and Mark go, oh my gosh, I can't live without the Freedom Patch. So Mark wants Freedom Patch. So Mark can then go back and reorder through his customer account, and the customers will always go back to forest.superpatch.com. And at the very bottom of the page, it says customer login. Mark can log into his account, make his orders. The customers are always tagged to me as the customer referrals. So that's why they don't give you your own website as a customer. You're always going to go back to my website to make your customer order. Magdalena referred a bunch of people they give the customers a referral code. So she sent out a referral code. Now what will happen is they will end up buying through my website and be my customers. She will get, if Melinda and Mark buy products because she referred them to them, she will get a $30 credit against a future order for referring people. So as a customer, I can show you where it is later, you all get a referral code. So, Magdalena could refer this to 30 people and 20 of them buy patches. And so she would have a $600, not money, but a $600 credit against future purchases. Okay. So I thought that was kind of a cool thing that they do. Now, Mark is back to trying to figure out how he's going to save money because he's retired. And Anne just wants more money for her kitchen pans and her sewing machine. So she doesn't want Mark buying too many patches unless they're the best price. So Mark can choose to become a member. So membership is 45 bucks.
40.
40. 40. Member is to become a member is $40. It's an annual fee. The second year goes to $25. So after the first year, it goes from 40, and then every year it's like Costco, except it's 25 bucks a year. When Mark does that, he can now purchase products. He'll have his own website like I do. He'll have an affiliate website that he can refer people to. But at that point, he will be paying $45 a patch anytime he goes and orders them. So he goes from the customer price to the member price of $45. Now, Jay's goal is to have 1 billion people in the world on these patches. Therefore, he's continually, and he says, the lifeblood of my business is people ordering them all the time. So one of the fun things watching him operate as a businessman is how do I make this easy and for people to afford my patches? So Mark goes, well, actually, I need 2 pain patches a month, but Anne, she's always on me about stuff. She needs 2 packs of piece patches because I need to make sure she's piece patched up every day. So he throws 2 piece patches into the deal. So he's now got 4 on order. When you order 4, they give you 1 free. So Mark will pay for 3, get the 4th one free as a member. That means he's paying about $35 a pack for them. That's on his auto ship. They call it smart ship because, in my opinion, you'd be stupid not to pay for 4 and get 1 free. Be stupid to order 3 when you can order 4 and get that one free. Even 2 makes no sense because I've already learned how to do this. It's very easy to go in and change your auto ship. You can turn it on, you can turn it off. You just have to log into your computer. And I've noticed this last couple of months, every time I buy something, dog treats, coffee, Amazon, everybody's wanting me to save 10% by going on auto ship. And I finally looked at our budget and said, I'm putting everything on auto ship. And I just make a little note on my calendar when I need to go and manage my ships because, like on my dog treats, it saved me 30 bucks the other day. So you can manage your auto ship pretty easily and get your packs down to $35 a pack. That makes a lot of sense to me. Does that make sense to you guys? So you've got customer, you've got member, and you can make that transition from customer to member anytime you want to. But I would suggest that so you don't screw it up, you call me first. Then I'll make sure you get that done right. And then I'll help you set up your first auto ship and get the patches coming. And what I have found for us is that initially I didn't think we could sell these. I thought they were too silly. But with our clients coming in the office, what Cheryl does is she just every time, so they see her and then they come down and see me. They come down the stairs and see me. And Cheryl says, she shouts down and says, Forrest, be sure you do the balance test on them. And since most of our clients are a little bit older, they don't walk so well, I can take 10 minutes. I put the Liberty patch on them.
And
And
you
we
do the balance test
do the
first.
balance. I do the balance test first. I put the Liberty patch on. And they go, oh my gosh, I can walk better.
And
And
typically go up and down stairs
go up and
better.
down the stairs better. So that's how I realized that I could have a referral business with this, that this would be an easy add-on to everything that we're doing. And that's how, at the end of the day, our first choice was Cheryl had to fall in love with him, which I didn't expect her to do. And then this last couple of weeks, I've been sorting through how do we make it as affordable and easy as possible for you to do this. And for those of you that want to tell your friends about it so they can go on walks with you instead of walking around with their canes. I think not all of you heard this. My favorite story so far is Dorothea Aldred. Dorothea, I'll just do the quick recap, is a nurse. Everybody in the hospitals had to get what 5 years ago? After she got the shot, she lost her ability to walk without a cane. She went to a cane very shortly after she got her shot. And she's been walking with a cane ever since she got the shot for her to keep her job. We put the Liberty patch on her about 2 weeks ago, and she said, I'm now walking without my cane. And we don't know what the shot did. We don't know how it did it. We don't know how it fixed it, but she literally put the patch on. She put down the cane and she said, I'm back to walking again. So to me, that's worth sharing with people that have trouble getting around and doing stuff. So that's why I think the sharing part of this is so important. So any questions on that? It's actually a pretty easy thing to do. And so that's the thumbnail on that. And if you got questions, we've been scurrying about to get
Teresa, that's, if you're a member, remember, if you're a member, you're gonna, if you buy 4, you're buying it at $45 for each packet, and you get the 4th one free. So you're paying 3 times,
45. You're paying 3. So Teresa, you're doing the customer pricing right now. You did 4 times 60 on the customer price. There we go. Lene's going to do it with the right time sign. So you're not paying 60. You're paying 4. If you order 4, it's going to be 4 times. Lene, do this. 4 means you're only paying for 3, but you're paying member price of $45. So it's 3 times 45 is 135 divided by 3. So
divided by 4.
and it's not 180 divided by 4.
You get 25% off and buy 3, get 1 free?
No.
No.
I'm going to slow down. Okay,
We made
class,
it hard.
everybody be quiet. Shh. We start all over. Customers pay $60 after their first order. Their first order, they get 25% off. So it goes from 60 to 45. They give you a discount and a guarantee to try them. If you don't want to do that, you just call my office and they're $60 because I have to pay for them and then resell them. I have to make $15 when I do that, $20, whatever it is. Okay, now once you become a member, scratch $60. That disappears. You go to the member price of $45. It's like, oh, my cereal is cheaper than it is at Safeway because I'm a member at Costco. So you're now paying $45 a pack. If you buy 4 packs,
Which is auto ship.
on auto, yeah, that's 4. If you're just buying them randomly, it's 45 times whatever. If you put them on Smart Ship and you order 4, they give you 1 free. So now you have 3 times 45 is 135. Thank you, Melinda. Divided by 4, because you got 4, is like about $35 a pack. This is not hard. Right, Lene?
Right.
Thanks, Melinda. $33.75.
You're right. But I would really like you to check that because we've had this conversation multiple times and you told me that this was false.
Lene, I know I'm right because I have a patch on and I'm very focused.
If you're right, I'm good. I think it's great.
Now, so where did I leave you confused?
I'm not confused.
Where did I confuse anybody?
You,
Here's the deal. You can do 60, 45, or 35. You just call me and tell me what you want and I'll help you do it. How's that grab you? Malanta, that's awesome. Now I'll give you one other deal. Here's what I do. Because I have a whole big warehouse full of product. So whenever a product goes on sale from a company, I buy more. Because like this weekend, Optimal Health gave everybody a 15% discount. So last weekend they gave you a 15% discount. So I go, I should get the 15% discount off of wholesale. So I ordered like a whole 2 months worth of product at 50% discount. And the OHS sale does end today. Thank you, Lene. So Super Patch will let me buy 40 packs. They'll let you do it too. When you buy 40 packs, they're $35 a pack. It's $1,300. So I always purchase now $1,300 worth of patches at a time because I'll sell those over the next couple months. And when you buy $1,300 worth of product, you get it for $34 a pack. Okay, so
But people don't have to do that.
you won't do that, but I'm just saying that's another option if you want to buy in bulk like I do for the office. So I've given you all of the options for saving money. That was my goal, not to put you all to sleep.
Hey, Forrest?
Yeah.
Does your OHS, does that discount pertain to BFF that I just ordered?
From them,
Should
it
I
does.
be-
Not from me, from them.
Oh, so I have to order to them directly, not through you.
Yeah, now
No.
I'll just tell you this secretly so everybody else stop listening. Darlene called me up today and said, Forrest, I'm ordering a bunch from you. Will you give me the 15% off if I buy it from you so I can save on shipping? And I said, yes. The problem is, Tracy, you put it on the computer and it came in and it was already processed, so I can't change that. But whenever they're running a sale, I will always honor the sale here to make it easier for you
To
guys.
our clients.
I don't advertise that, but I'll do it for our clients, okay?
Okay, I just need to order more, so I didn't know if you wanted me to order it through you or
You
go
can
on
just
their
order- You
website.
can just go on their website. Make sure or you can call me and order it. Not just call me and then I'll just give you the 15% off directly, okay?
OHS gives practitioners a code so that when people order, they're supposed to be designated to the practitioner who does all the training for them. They don't track them.
Right.
Whereas with Super Patch, one of the things I appreciate is who did you hear this from? So that they can always, if someone's an affiliate, they want to honor those affiliate codes. I really appreciate that as a
Oh,
practitioner.
there it is. Yeah, Tracy, Lene just put up on the screen, OHSBC Townsley. Once you're coded to us with OHS, we'll get credit for the sale.
And once you have that, they'll send you emails because they do heavy duty marketing, which is always somewhat
And then
interesting.
you'll always get the
And
discount.
you'll always get all the sale notifications of sales, and then you can make the purchase and get it directly from them. I don't know how their shipping compares, but they
It's-
do a good job. It should be comparable. And so if you just call them and say, we want to be tagged to
Tracy.
Townsley's, then when they send out their sales, you can use, they already have us in there supposedly. And then
Right.
you use the coupon code for that holiday.
Okay.
Okay.
The goal is to always help
Thanks.
you guys. The goal is to always help you guys win because that's important. Okay, other questions? We got a little more confusing than I thought, but that's okay because now I learned that I got confusing.
To me, what's really simple is you can pay 60, 45, or 35. And if you're not quite sure how to do it, you call Forrest and he'll walk you through it the first time because it's not hard. Everything about Super Patch is really easy. And then in the notes that go with this is the information highlights for each of the patches. Or you can go to YouTube, CherylTownsleyTV.com, and we have a whole playlist. We have a great video that Jay, the formulator, did. We have a great video of Dr. Anna explaining this technology that I've listened to multiple times to get this in me. And then you have my little simple overviews. We have Forrest doing balance testing. So you can learn this as simply as possible for you, because what you're learning, just remember this, what you're looking at is, okay, these are the different pathways I could put into balance based on my symptoms, not your disease labels. Based on your symptoms, which one would you want to help the brain have more efficient energy? Which one would you want for the brain to be able to work with the hormones more efficiently so that you actually have capacity to work on other health issues like your immune system or other things? So it's not about, somebody said, well, do I just wear all 12 patches? Well, of course not. That would be goofy. But you may find that 2 do it. You might find 3. It might be 1. Whichever pathway is most out of balance, that's what you want to support because that's the most bang for your dollar.
Magdalena, I'm unfortunately in the office too much, but typically I try to get the phones answered between 10 and 5. So if you just call the office and leave a message and
Time.
Mountain Time, most people, like today I pulled off 6 messages from yesterday because I used to answer the phone whenever it rang. Now I have this thing called a focus patch. And if I'm focused, I don't hear the phone ringing anymore. It's weird. So you just call the office, let me know when to call you back, and then we'll get you squared away on that, okay?
And the office number is 719-488-5688. Okay, did we help you guys tonight? Do you have questions, comments? Is this starting to make sense? Anybody want to just give some feedback? We've got a few minutes here because we covered a lot of big concepts. Just remember, it'll be in the notes, so you can look at that. But I would appreciate some feedback, comments, thoughts, ahas.
I have a comment.
I appreciate that, Glenda.
I thought you might. I always have an opinion. I have found for myself that I keep a notebook and it's pretty ratty looking. I have my notebook here and I track things like tried this, couldn't sleep till 11 a.m. This is invaluable. I encourage everybody to just have just a rough draft. Does not have to be fancy.
I agree with you. And Marla, who was on, but I don't see her now, when you pull off the white part of the patch, so you have the part that goes on your skin, there's this little white. What she's doing, because she's an organizer, an organized person, she puts the name of the patch and where she applied it. So she's kind of using that as a way to track what did I notice? What did I notice? Um, you
That's
know,
brilliant. I want to be her best friend.
She's, if you ever need something organized anywhere in your life, Marla is amazing. And she's in our Easy community and also on the Lifestyle for Health Facebook page. Anybody else? Question, comment, insight, aha. I do happen to know there's a couple of people on here, several, actually 2 or 3, with blood sugar issues. And one of the things that Dr. Anna Toker, commented, she wore a Fitbit for a year and she recognized all the spikes she had at night. I think it was REM and Freedom. It's in the notes. When she wears those 2 patches at night, her blood pressure is anywhere from 10 to 20 points lower and no spikes. She also found she was at a point where standing as a surgeon was becoming a problem. She was having to do more setting. Freedom Patch made a big difference. Listening to her on YouTube, she's got many really good videos, not only on Super Patch, but on gut health. She's just a hoot to listen to because obviously she's brilliant, but she actually can make things relatively understandable. So if you like to watch YouTube videos, she's a great resource. Any other question or comment?
Okay, and just to clarify, I just was trying, my goal is to help you guys save money. So, Cheryl gave me the notes tonight on how to do the money stuff. It's like, we'll just make this easy. I've been on the phone like every day talking to somebody figuring this out for the last 2 weeks. I've spent, so there's a big learning curve for us right now in this. And so if you guys have questions, call us and we will, Linda, there's 12. Yeah. Thanks, Lene. Lene's my mathematician. Now we know Melinda's my mathematician. And then my wife is the one that keeps me honest. How many where are the YouTube videos? We have a
If you go,
playlist at CherylTownsleyTV.com. It's just Super Patch playlist.
so if you go to CherylTownsleyTV.com, we have a whole playlist of information on patches. But if you're on YouTube in general, you can put in Dr. Anna Toker, Toker, and watch her other videos. We took one that I thought was one of the best, and it's in our playlist. So just going to CherylTownsleyTV.com, you can scroll through and listen to the highlights for each of the patches, FAQs. There's one video that covers all the patches in about 15 minutes, somewhere in there, 12 minutes. So all of that was designed simply to educate. Any other questions or comments before I pray for you?
Okay. I like to say, stay calm and patch on.
Father God, I just thank you. I thank you, Father, that not only are you our Abba Papa, you're the great physician. And Father, the more we learn about the human body, there's no way it could have just been a big bang and all fallen into place. We are these amazing creations, amazingly put together in our mother's womb. And Father, I thank you that you're teaching us how to steward our bodies, steward our health, so that we can be the whole person you created us to be. I thank you, Father, that when we don't know what to do, that we can just come to you and say, well, Lord, what do you want to show me? What do you want to show me? I thank you for the journey you've been taking me on to learn the things for my health, for my brain, for the brain recovery, for the blood pressure, the other questions that I have out there that I'm asking you about. Father, I thank you that we don't have to give up on our health. We don't have to give up that things can't change. We can create efficiency in our body. Father, I ask that you would take whatever was said tonight that could be useful for someone, and I ask, Holy Spirit, that you would bring it to remembrance, you would nurture it, nourish it, and give people insight and wisdom unique to their situation. Unique to their situation. And Father, the people like our friend who had the stroke. Father, there's so many people out there that get discouraged because they're not given any hope in the medical community. There's no hope. Father, I thank you that your plans for us are for good and not for evil, to give us a future and a hope. That there is always a way where we can improve because you always, always, always have a way through. Father, I ask that hope could be restored for people who have lost hope, or they've been disappointed, or just told that it can't ever change. Father, I thank you that you're a creative God, a creative God. And there's so many ways that you can work with us and through us for our health. And I just ask that there would be wisdom, discernment, revelation, understanding, and favor on each and every person, restoring their health in their unique way. I thank you for teaching us to ask questions, to dialogue with you, and to practice listening. And we give you the praise, the glory, and the honor for all that you're doing. In Jesus' name, and everybody said,
Pat John.
Amen.
Amen.
And thanks, everyone. We'll probably do a call next week and the replay.
No, we are committed to every Thursday in September because the teaching process is how we learn. And every week there's going to be stories, and it's building this as part of our community. So just like when we launched the parasite cleanses, Cheryl talked about parasite cleanses for a whole year, and now you're all parasite cleanse experts. So we're just all continuing to develop expertise and skill sets. So Lord bless. Have a great evening. Call or email me if you need anything, and we'll carry on from there.
Bye, everyone.
Thanks, Lene.
Bye.